what can you tease us
That's
about 300?
about 300. So it's going to be, I think it's finally time the boys investigate a case where they've never been before, but we've all been, I think, wanting, and that's in a nudist colony. So I think it's going to be really. That's not the plot. I know we were all hoping for it. No, I think with the 300s, the 100th episode was very conventional as an episode of Supernatural. There's really not even a nod to the fact it was 100. The 200th episode went exactly in the opposite direction. It was very meta and very kind of out there. I think the 300th kind of is in the middle, and the idea is basically behind it is, Sam and Dean live in this bunker, and they've lived in this bunker for a number of years. This bunker is located in Lebanon, Kansas. We've never actually seen Lebanon, Kansas. And so the idea is, especially the people in that town who are like, here are these two guys that drive through in this muscle car, and they just came to the dry cleaners, but I think there was blood on their shirt. And so this idea that how other people kind of view them, with the story kind of embedded in it, Sam, Dean, Cass, and everybody else, and allows us to kind of give different views on Sam and Dean, that I think will ultimately end up being a really cool love letter to the show.
You thought I was going to say T season 14.
That's right, exactly. We're right to 300. Exactly. T season 14? So I think with season 14, the question becomes, the big news is obviously that Michael is here, he isn't Dean is gone. How does everyone react to that? I think more and more as we get into it, there's just a certain chaotic nature, there's a certain chaotic thread that runs through this season of Supernatural. Because a lot of the kind of power structures that have existed for the past few seasons, they're gone. There's nobody running hell. There's nobody running heaven. I mean, there is, but heaven is such a, there are 10 angels left. You know what I mean? They're not really a player. Humans and monsters continue to be chaotic and kind of at each other's throats. So there's really no one in charge, and that obviously creates a lot of opportunity for someone like Michael to step in and possibly be the guy that could be in charge, if that's what he wants. Because Michael is not a guy who wants to come and rule the world as it is right now. Michael has a very specific view of what he wants the world to be, and that is not our world. He tried to get in the last world. Even he would say that it did not work out. But you know what? He's got a second chance. So he's going to go, I think, in a different way that gets to the same result, which is a world he considers purified and worthy of him.
So last season was a really emotional one for all the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be the tone for the next one?
I think the tone remains the same. I mean, the show lives and dies on emotion more than anything else. As much as we think... as much as the spectacle can be fun and the jokes can be fun, ultimately people tune in for the emotion and for the melodrama that exists. So I don't think we ever want to move quite too much away from that. I think this season it gets amped up quite a bit because obviously, Dean, who's been the big brother, literally, The Rock, is gone. And so what do you do then? I think it becomes kind of a question that everyone's asking at the beginning of the season.
How long will Michael be possessing Dean? Can you tell us that?
Longer than you think.
Like a really active support system, hunters, family,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because Sam and Dean kind of inherit, or Sam specifically since Dean is indisposed at the moment, inherited 25 people from Apocalypse World who came through the rift with them. Those people, they don't have a lot of what I'll call commercial skills, you know what I mean? They can't go work at the Gap. It's not going to work out for them. So they have really gone into hunting, and so when we come into the bunker in the first episode, it's functioning less like kind of our guy's sanctuary and more like a police precinct. People are coming and going, they're working cases. Sam is kind of the guy in charge. So we're building up that world a little bit more. Obviously, this is still the story about our core characters. We don't want to spend too much time away, but I think we are seeing more of the hunter world this season.
What about having a shorter season? Because this one is having a dual episode. How that would affect? First, why you guys decide that? And second, how this would affect the story?
Sure. Well, I think even at 20 episodes, we're doing significantly more episodes than most TV shows do. Almost every, the number of shows that do more than 13 is really, really low. So we're very lucky in that. You know what I mean? We have that kind of real estate to play with. The choice to go to fewer episodes, it was the guys, the guys wanted to spend more time with their families, and you can't progress on that. They have kids, the kids are growing up, you know what I mean? So it was all done for the right reasons. I think for us, we've tried to keep, always the split between myth episodes and standalone episodes about 50-50. We want to continue to keep that split, basically. So what that means is you're going to lose some myth and you're going to lose some standalones. But at the end of the day, our hope is to keep the overall feel, pace, and tone of the show the same.
How do you keep it fresh after almost 40 episodes? Do you have still a running document of ideas?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, we have a running document of ideas we've used, and that becomes the hardest thing. But honestly, we can always do a vampire story. You know what I mean? You can always do a scary story. What makes it different is how does it affect your main characters. And as long as the characters can grow and adapt, even a very basic ghost story can feel very different. Sam and Dean working a story about, let's just say, for example, about a father who lost his son and the son is now a ghost. In season 1, that had a certain vibe on it because Sam and Dean would have identified with the kid, right? They had issues with their dad. Well, now they're going to identify more with the dad, and they're going to have issues with the kid. So it's you can tell a very similar story, but it feels very, very different because of where the characters are and how they evolved over the course of 14 seasons.
Like a monster of the week, and especially a monster of the week from other cultures and countries.
You know what? That's something we like to play with a little bit. And we do have some stuff kind of teed up that we're kind of working out. I would say for us, the go-to monsters tend to be our most effective, only because even a lot of monsters from other cultures kind of feel like it's a vampire, but it's like Greek. You know what I mean? And so making that distinction is kind of harder, but it's always something we're looking for. Yeah.
Thanks so much, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.